Back again this week. We've been talking about teens this month and parenting teens. And I started in the first one two times ago, I believe. You can step on back in there and listen about how we actually don't take responsibility in our part in the dynamic with our teen. And it can be with our younger children also. If you're listening and you have younger children, they will be teens one day. But often with younger children also, we are so focused on the symptoms, on the behavior, I will say, is the symptoms. And we see that, and we don't really think that we have anything to do with it. I mean, we have this expectation our children, if we ask them to do something, they should just do it. And they shouldn't roll their eyes, and they shouldn't slam the door, and they shouldn't do whatever. And then we get really upset when they exhibit a behavior. And instead of saying, hey, I wonder what my part was in that. Maybe I asked my kid at a time when they weren't available, or maybe I pushed the door open and just, imagine I had an agenda and I just thought my kid needed to do it right now. We forget that kids don't just roll eyes. Kids don't just slam doors. Kids don't just scream or bite or hit. At least in my experience, and maybe you have one different, but if you really take the time to watch your kiddo, ask yourself, do they just walk around doing bad behavior? I mean, in my experience, that usually only about 20% of the time do kids act out. And that becomes the whole thing that we get focused on, that 20%. Like, in a way, we want them to be perfect, and we're going to demand that they be perfect. And we forget that we have power in there because we can look back in and go, wonder what my part was in that dynamic. And I see this over and over when people talk about, controlling their kids or getting them to behave well. Well, let's just go back to the root. I mean, when my daughter slammed her door, I always had a part in it. I was either pushing or pulling or forcing, or I had an agenda, and I wasn't even curious or interested in her perspective or what she was open for or available for. So I was just in my power over parenting, role that I was going to tell her what to do, and she just needed to do it. And so many people don't want to hear this. They want to go, well, children just have to learn to respect me. And it's like, whoa, slow down. Respect is a two-way street. So you wouldn't probably just walk into, your friend's house and demand that they take out the trash when you want them to do it, or when you want them to do it. And you probably wouldn't go in there and demand that they clean their room, and because you don't like it and it causes distress for you, and you need to teach them to be responsible. Can you get this a little bit? And then we say, well, I'm the parent and I need to do that. Not really. I'm really going to call you on that if you think that, because actually this is a relationship. And yeah, you're the parent, you're the adult. So as an adult, I decided I was going to take up my part in the dynamic. I wasn't going to ask my kid to change so that I would be okay. I was going to ask myself, if the environment doesn't work, if my kid doesn't comply or cooperate, that's what we want to say these days. If my kid says no, how about that? If my kid doesn't want to take out the trash when I ask him or whatever, then I would stop and pause and say, well, wait a minute. Usually for me, it was that I didn't ask until I was kind of desperate, until I wanted it done, and I wanted it done now. I really found that I had that dynamic happening a lot with my daughter. I was always a little terrified of hearing no. I didn't want to hear no. I also didn't want to ask for help because I wanted to act like I could do it all, and I wanted her to offer. So often when I came to her, I was pretty loaded emotionally. I would dump that load on her, and that's what she was often saying no to, not to the task at hand. And that doesn't mean that they're going to enjoy it. They still might roll their eyes or go, I don't want to do that. But that is not personal to you, right? And then the minute we take that personally, then it gets really, really dicey, and then we'll say that they're not respecting us. It all becomes about us. Well, remember, it's not all about you, and it's not all about what they're doing to you. This is a relationship. So take some time this week, and if your kid acts in ways that you don't like, and you're saying that they're disrespectful or they're doing all these things to you, slow down. Slow it way, 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 way down, and just say, well, when? When do I feel disrespected? What is my agenda? What am I expecting that I'm not getting? How am I approaching my teen, but even my little one? Am I pushing? Am I pulling? Am I in a hurry? Am I not even stopping to look and see what they're doing? Just take some time. Now, again, this isn't that it's your fault that your kid acts out, but you do have a part in it. So I come from the angle of I'm the adult, and my kid's young, and yeah, they're going to not be able to adapt and adjust as well as I am. So it just got very, very empowering when I was able to slow down and recognize anytime I saw a behavior that I thought was inappropriate or disrespectful or I didn't like, I would just pause before I went forward and attacked, right, or lashed out, and just would ask myself, okay, what was my part? Even in my daughter hitting, when she hit me, I would say, okay, what was my part? I was usually pushing or pulling her. I had an agenda. I wasn't slowing down. I wasn't taking into account what she could do or what she was able to do or what felt dangerous to her. I wasn't even interested in her. I was only thinking about me, and you need to treat me with respect. Well, again, as I say, it's a two-way street. So keep remembering, if you're not receiving the view that you would like from outside, if it's not going your way, instead of trying to shame your kid, control your kid, punish your kid, consequence your kid to get that picture to look the way you want, you wouldn't do that with the weather. You wouldn't tell the rain what it was doing to you. You would put your raincoat on. You would get your umbrella. So put your raincoat on, get your umbrella, go in and take care of yourself and find out, what was my part in this dynamic? And how can I change it so I feel more satisfied and also my kid feels seen, heard, and understood? Have a great week this week. See you next week on Parenting Paused. Thank you for listening to this episode of Parenting Paused. If you enjoyed the episode, do me a favor and share it with your mama friends. You can also leave a review wherever you listen, which will support getting the Pure Joy message out. Come on over to the Pure Joy Parenting Practice Facebook page or join me on Instagram to hear more. And don't forget to download your free copy of the Safe Seat course on the Pure Joy website. And while there, check out the offerings page to go deeper in the Pure Joy work.